What's up, fellow rhythm nerds? Pete Galia here, and I'm bringing you yet another Asalato / Kashaka video today. And today we're going to be talking about splitting up your odd groupings, and we're going to be dealing with 5s and 7s. So before we dive in, make sure you click like and subscribe if you dig the content I'm putting out recently, and if you're getting into playing the Asalato, or maybe you're just into rhythm in general, or rudiments, or practice pad, whatever it is, come join the vibe, and I hope you'll stick around, and yeah, let's jump into today's video. So, as I mentioned, we're going to be dealing with 5s and 7s today. So, in terms of counting 5s and 7s, you may or may not be familiar with the South Indian rhythmic percussive language called Konnakol. Now, for example, 5s, one phrase I like to use a lot to count 5s, which I've learned, is tadiginaton. So it would be tadiginaton, 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 ta. Now, for the purpose of this video, and also for the sake of the fact that another version is used very often, which is taka takita, which is just a grouping of 2 and then 3. You can also do it the other way around as takita taka, but because it works so well as 2 and 3 on the Asalato, we're gonna be vibing with taka takita taka takita taka takita taka takita ta. Now, if we're going to apply that same vibe to 7, there's a couple of ways you can count 7, but today we're going to be dealing with takadimi takita, which is 4 and then 3. So, takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita ta. And just for fun, in case you're interested, another way you could count 7 is using tadiginaton, but with some gaps like this. Ta-di-genaton, 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 ta. Now, the purpose of today's video is to be playing these groupings of 5 or 7, but to learn how to mark the sort of subgroups within the 5 and 7 with the clicks of the Asalato, basically. So let's get started with the 5s, nice and easy. So you may or may not have seen one of my previous videos where I talk about playing different groupings on the Asalato in terms of decoding polyrhythms. I'm gonna leave it up here in this card in case you haven't watched it yet. It's a pretty chunky one, so yeah, I invite you to check that out. It's a very fun video. Anyways, so whether you've seen that one or not, let's briefly kind of revise the fact that when you play a certain grouping, you know, in terms of 5 and 7, we can get 5s by playing this. Tadiginaton, 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 ta. Now the cool thing is once you learn to do it with 2 hands, tadiginaton, 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 ta. The idea here is that we're gonna offset the hands by 2 partials of the rhythm, and that's gonna give us our taka takita, taka takita, taka takita, taka takita. So, let's start just with some shakes, nice and easy. And maybe get one hand involved with the clicks, so tadiginaton, 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 tadiginaton. Now the idea is that we're going to do the same thing on the left hand, but it's going to be offset, like this. Taka takita, 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 ta. So in terms of when you're going to be letting go of that bottom shaker ball to get your offset rhythm, the context I'll use now is just counting in 4 quarter notes to keep life simple. And the first one will be released on the 4 and the second one will be released on the 1 just after. Check this out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. So Again, just to keep it simple, we're counting in 4, but it's actually in 5. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And that should give you your offset rhythm, like this. And there you have your taka takita taka takita taka takita taka takita shape with the Asalato. Now the final ingredient, if you want to add the Konnakol in there, I think it's a really cool thing to do. And if you're not used to doing it, it possibly could be quite a challenge just to get your voice involved. So maybe try get those clicks happening and then add it in. Let's try that now. Great stuff. Next thing we're going to look at is the sevens. So essentially it's the exact same thing, but you're offsetting the rhythm by 2 more partials of the rhythm, of course, because you want 4 of the partials to pass by the time the next click comes. And if you're thinking, bro, what the hell did you just say? So if you have taka takita, the clicks are essentially 2 away from each other. Taka takita. In this case, we want to have takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita ta. So, with that logic, we'll just let go of the left hand half a beat later. So it will be on the 1 end this time if we count in 4 quarter notes. So check it out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Takadimi, takita, 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 ta. Now at this stage it's important to remember also with this rhythm, each hand is essentially doing just this. Takadimi, takita, takadimi, takita, takadimi, takita, takadimi, takita, takadimi, takita, takadimi, takita, ta. And when you offset the other one, it essentially becomes this. Takadimi, takita, 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 ta. So it's just the same rhythm, same movement, exactly the same thing, but permutated a little bit later. I love the word permutation. I don't know why, but I do. Also, as far as I understand, it's a word used in maths. I obviously came across the word permutation, permutate, permute, whatever, through drumming, but it's a maths thing also. Fun fact. But yeah, permutating rhythm, moving it along horizontally. So with the same logic of before, I think it's a cool idea to include the Konnakol. So let's get the takadimi takita on our hands going. Takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita. And we'll add the voice in right after. Here we go. Takadimi takita, 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 ta. So there you have it, my friends. That's essentially splitting up your 5s and 7s from tadigenato, 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 tadigenato into taka takita, taka takita, taka takita, taka takita. And then 7s from ta di genato, ta di genato, ta di genato, ta di genato into takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita, takadimi takita ta. But wait, there's more. So as a final thing I wanted to share today, in terms of 7, you also find that you can play a rhythm of 7 also as like 2, 2, 3. And a lot of the time you might hear tongue twister vibes. Now I wanted to figure out how I could do that within some shakes on the Asalato, and essentially it looks like this. 1, 2, here I go. Takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, ta. So essentially what's happening here is I'm using certain movements to allow the takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, ta to happen. So I'm just going to break it down each side individually and then put it back together, and maybe you can try that for yourself also. So if we start with just the right hand, it's essentially doing this. So takademi, takita, 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 ta. So takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita. So from the two takademi, takita, the first one is hitting the D on the takademi, takita, takademi, takita. Then you're going to spin it around again, just once. Takademi, takita, ta. And from there, you're going to do a little backflip motion. I actually have no idea what this is called, but essentially it's from this position here that you're going to throw it sort of inwards this way and catch it back underneath once again. And that will allow you to play the takademi, takita on the second takademi, takita. You hit the first ta. So all in all, this hand is going to be playing takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, ta. Now I'll try to do that as slowly as I can, or just use the slow down function on YouTube, and that's how I kind of do it when I'm watching videos and figuring things out, so that might help you also. Takademi, takita, 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 ta. Bit faster. Takademi, takita, 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 ta. And that's one hand. Now, we're going to look at the left hand. Now, in terms of the left hand, it is actually hitting the first ta, because, of course, the right hand was doing takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita, takademi, takita. Check out what the pattern kind of looks and sounds like in isolation first. Takademi, takita, 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 takademi, takita. So takademi, takita, 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 takademi, takita. Now, the first thing you're going to be doing is an air turn on the left hand, which in itself, what it is letting go of that shaker ball. It comes around, and you want to knock the other one, the one which you're holding, that needs to be knocked out of your hand, and you catch it with the index finger. This one's going to kind of come around, and as it's coming around, you need to switch the fingers there, and the string comes back in between there. It will bounce off over here, come back and catch it. So, takademi, takita, 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 ta. Now we're gonna join them together for the full rhythm. Takademi, takita, 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 ta. Now I suppose you could also do it the other way around and lead it with the right hand, but that's maybe something for your own practice time also. And on that note, away these go. So, my friends, that's the end of today's video. Just a couple of ideas on splitting up your odd groupings with the Asalato. I am also working on my nines as well, so if you want to see a little bit of that, let me know in a comment down below. Also comment if you've got a question, anything I can help with at all. And if I can't answer your question, I'm sure somebody else will have some valuable input that they can provide, and we can have a nice little rhythmic conversation. I hope you learned something and that you enjoyed it, of course. And if you are enjoying the content I'm putting out, consider subscribing, maybe like this video and any others that you might be enjoying. If you have any suggestions for future content, I'm all ears. Anything about, rhythm, asalato, percussion, practice pad, rudiments, drum kit, you name it. If you're interested in seeing me break something down, then I would love to know what you want to see. And I'll be sure to do my best to make a video about it. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Happy practicing. Thanks for checking out the video. See you next time. Cheers.